Hello. Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today on the bench, we have a disk station DS412 Plus from Synology. These are pretty old now, and I think the most recent DSM versions don't work on these anymore. So they are getting kind of old and outdated. They are still, nevertheless, some of the nicest network-attached storage devices you can get. Unfortunately, they fail quite a lot. And this Synology here was donated to the channel, and from a friend. He said he couldn't fix it himself. And these, most of the time, they come without the floppy caddy, without the hard drive caddies, and then, you know, what good are they for? He says something is rattling inside. He would be right. And he says as soon as the power gets plugged in, no lights, no fan action, and that is usually an indication that something is majorly wrong with the mainboard. And I thought to myself, well, let's see if we can repair the mainboard. There are some really good guides. Check out the link up here from Nick's repair service. He helped me out quite a bit on some of these, and he runs a great service, so I strongly recommend checking him out if you have a NAS like this that needs repairing. But sometimes they can be repaired, sometimes they cannot. And if the motherboard can't be repaired, then I thought to myself, maybe we can transpose something like this inside. So this is a DX0D model, and I thought to myself maybe it'd be fun to mod one of these inside, but I don't know, friends. It seems like the motherboard is just a hair, definitely won't fit like this, and it may fit like this if we get rid of the heatsink, but I don't know, it might not fit. So I was thinking maybe we can mod something like this in there. This is an Intel NUC. It's a NUC i3. They are getting a little old too, but they should have plenty of power to act as a NAS. And there's a way to actually get the original DSM, the Disk Station Manager operating system, onto these. So let's get a power supply, hook this up, and see what it does. All right, replacement brick. This brick is actually from my DS918, and it goes in here. And classic problem with these is that people plug these in upside down like so, and that happens, and sometimes carnage happens. So let me plug in the, oh, what was this? All right, that's odd. 2 screws missing, and wonder if that's what rattles. Oh yeah, oh yeah. One of the things that rattles is that fan. Not sure why anyone would take the fan off here. That is a bad sign. Someone worked on this and couldn't get it. Okay. Plug it in, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, dead as a doornail. Let's open her up then. Oh yeah, here, there you go. That's why there's no fan activity. I never understand why people take these apart and then don't also take the time to clean them. Like, oh, yep, now we see 1, 2 screws missing, and the 2 that are in here for the cage are not the OG screws. Because this here, my friend, look at this. It's a hard drive screw out of a PC. Oh. That's not good. Capacitor broke off. Tool marks on this regulator, and looks like I'd resoldered in that regulator. This one here too. Solder blobs. Oop, there's a lifted pad right there. I'm not even sure if there needs to be anything here, but it looks like it could be. Oh boy, yeah. So usually what happens on these is that these here die. These is a disc-on module, and it's basically a USB stick, or USB flash drive with the boot ROM on it, and they like to fail, and the battery likes to die, in which case the entire thing won't boot, aside from the RAM. But yeah, I don't know. Without this situation here, this is what I meant earlier. When you reverse the power plug accidentally, then this section here of the board will just fry in unpredictable ways. All right. So what are we going to do about this, I wonder? Looking at this, it seems like the main board of the Wise will ever so slightly not fit. Could shave it off and could remove. No, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna bother with that. That's not gonna work. What I'm still gonna do is take the main board out of this and see if we can transpose it on there. The inside of the Nook are out. I put that in a safe place. This Nook comes from something day job related. They discarded those, and I repaired this one. It had a broken BIOS. There it was. Quick replaced the BIOS chip. Is, by the way, also something that likes to happen on these things here quite a bit. These BIOS chips somehow break, and then you need to replace them. And same with this. It's actually the same chip, so these have the same ROM here. So I replaced the ROM here and flashed it, and now it works again. But now the question is, of course, well, we got 4 bays in here, right? And we have only one SATA port over here. What are we going to do about that? Do we got to hook up the drives with USB? That seems not so great. And I discovered that this port here, you cannot use a port multiplicator on these. But then I discovered they made these. You know what that is? Did you know they make these? No, you didn't, because neither did I. This, my friends, is an M2 to SATA controller, like a SATA controller that lives in here, with 6 SATA ports and an M2 interface. You have an M2 interface that can take NVMe or SATA. It'll work. So let's get rid of the hard drive. Goodbye. And plop this thing in, like so. Look at that. Problem solved. That has 4 gigs of RAM on here. And I happen to have another stick. This is 8. So let's upgrade this thing to a cool 12 gigs while we're on it. 1, 2. Why not? That should work. That should do the trick. Now the last question we need to figure out is, how do we power the drives? Because, you know, there's no power on these ports here. Here's the SATA port. It's probably only enough for like maybe 1 drive. It's probably doesn't run enough current for 4 drive, let alone 6. But I figured maybe we could use one of these things here. This is just a DC 5525 barrel connector. It comes with a little voltage regulator here on the end, and has 1, 2, 3, 4 SATA ports on that side. So surely we can shove that into the case and power our drives. Great. So now, of course, before we start anything, we should get DSM onto this Nook as the operating system. And for that, there is a project called Synology. What we need for that is an ordinary USB stick. Let's get after it.
And friends, to install Synology, it is as easy as heading over to the GitHub repository for ArcLoader and download the latest release. ArcLoader is a boot manager that fakes a DSM or Synology hardware environment and allows DSM to actually believe that it's running on actual hardware. Now, once you download it and flash it to a hard drive, you can just boot off of it and configure the model of Synology you want to emulate. I'm choosing a 918 Plus because it is a fairly recent model that is still supporting the latest version of DSM. And once you're happy with the configuration you made, you can just tell ArcLoader to boot and configure DSM, and it will do almost everything by itself and boot DSM. With DSM successfully booted, head over to find.synology.com and search for Synology disk stations on your network. As you can see, mine is right here. It's this top not installed unit. When I connect to it, the rest of the process is straightforward. Now that DSM believes there's an actual Synology device here, it will simply guide me through the installation process of the entire DSM operating system. That is, if there were any drives installed.
So the other problem we have to figure out is how do we mount the main board in here, and boy oh boy, it sticks out pretty far, doesn't it? We have to have this shield here because the cage is mounted on the shield itself, like so. It goes right like this, roughly. And this thing is just ever so slightly too tall to put in like this. Besides, where's the cables going to look out of, right? So I think what we have to do is we actually have to cut like a little hole. Gotta make some room here, mount this metal thing, cut out enough here from the back pane, like here, so we can put the heat sink on the other side. Oh yeah, brief update. So I had to cut more of the shell than I thought. For the back pane, I mean, I traced out where the cooler's gonna go, but it turns out that wasn't quite enough. So I had to cut out quite a bit and mount the NUC mainboard vertically like so. But there's enough room for an extension cord for the network cable that we're gonna reroute. And there's enough room back here for all the SATA ports. Now we had to delete one of the fans, but well, the CPU has its own fan, which conveniently sucks the air from these breathing holes here that are described by the name. And yeah, and the hot swap caddy still works too, so that still all fits in there. The mainboard is in, and it's hooked up. Made some pigtails to hook all of these things up. Stuck a 5525 barrel connector here in the original hole, and stuck. This is just female to female adapter. I think we are ready to power this baby on and see what she does. Goes here, and this one goes here. Since that worked, now we gotta do something about the tray situation here. I got this convenient little sampling of products from Synology. Brand new disk trays. Oh yeah, let's put them together.
But now that we have installed our actual drives, we of course had to reinstall DSM yet again from scratch. That is not, once the drives were in, we now had a beautiful RAID 5 with almost 17 terabytes of storage.
And here's the finished product, friends.
the Synology Disk Station DS412 Plus, or rather, I should say, the Intel NUC i3 in the body of a 412 Plus, identifying as a Disk Station 918 Plus. We have brand new caddies. The hot swapping is a little awkward because of we don't have a back pane anymore, right? We deleted that one. And now we have the cable situation. So swapping disks means we have to open the entire case. Doesn't matter though, it's very beautiful. Even the original power button still works if I had it hooked up. A couple of other caveats here are we had to delete, one of the fans was deleted, and altogether, this beautiful Synology will work a treat. Another caveat here, of course, is that we don't have the status lights at the moment. The status lights are internal to the SATA port. And maybe at some point I'll fabricate a little bit of an breakout board for the lights to go behind the light conductors here. But oh well, from the outside, you would almost never be able to tell that this is not a Synology inside anymore. So friends, thank you very much for watching. If you need anything repaired, restored, or modded, call your boy RetroByteMeister at retrobytemeister.com. Bye.